Hello, I'm Rachel from Douentza Garden in Ireland, and today we're going to do something a little bit different. I want to introduce you to a young horticulturalist. This is Eileen Gahan. Hi Eileen.
Hello.
And Eileen is a craft gardener who has won awards and bursaries. She's worked in some really interesting gardens, which we're going to hear about soon. And she is winner of the prestigious Irish Young Horticulturalist of the Year. So, I guess, without further ado, let's get on with the video. You are very welcome to today's video, which is an interview with Eileen Gahan, a young horticulturalist just at the beginning of her career. Now, Eileen, you currently are a craft gardener in Abbey Leake's house and garden.
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay. And I guess, let's just start off by, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So I started off just working in my local garden centre, Cushenhown, and from there developed, a real interest in just herbaceous plants, and it really snowballed. I loved visiting gardens. I remember visiting Paris Court and just absolutely adoring it, and I knew I wanted to be a craft gardener at that point. And from there I just got into horticulture through the level 5 in the Botanic Gardens, and I'm now working as a craft gardener in a private estate in Laois, and loving it and travelling and experiencing all the adventure in horticulture.
Okay, that's wonderful, Eileen. And I think you have some very interesting stories to tell us about when you won the bursary to go to Tresco in the Scilly Isles. Do tell us about this. This is in the south of England for anybody listening out there who isn't familiar with our geography. So tell us about Tresco. What's so great about that?
Well, Tresco was just an experience. Oh my God. Even getting there, I had to take a flight to Newquay, go down to Land's End, which is the most westerly point of England, and then get another small airplane out, a little about 10-person airplane.
An airplane?
Yeah, out until just to St. Mary's Island, which is one of the larger islands on the Isles of Scilly. And then a boat out to Tresco, so it took about 2 days total just to get there, and it's only in England, and just loved the experience. I got there in January, and I expected, like any other garden, for it to be, the midst of winter. I got there and it was full bloom. Everything from aloes, aloe cicatrina, aloe arborescens in full bloom.
Oh, slow down a bit there now. I heard you say aloe, but what did you say after that?
Cicatrina is one of the kind of smaller growing aloes, and then arborescens, which is the krantz aloe, which is just the ginormous trunk-like aloe, and just gorgeous, full bloom. And there was also Banksias, acacias, Kunzias, callistemon, everything just looking incredible when I got there. And I really couldn't believe that a garden like that even existed. It took me by complete surprise. And I had just 2 months of an adventure there. I got to plant proteas up in the top terraces. I even got a little bit of tree climbing in, hedge pruning up on 30-foot ladders, which wasn't great for my fear of heights, but it was an experience, and absolutely loved my time there in Tresco. I would be back there in an instant if I could.
Wow, and I'm detecting from you that you really have a love of subtropicals, particularly South African plants, perhaps?
Yeah, definitely. I knew beforehand that was something I was interested in, but they're so, in Ireland, most of our gardens aren't really like a climate that subtropicals can survive well in. Bar maybe Kilmacurragh has a couple of the fascicularia bicolour, the monkey spum plant. But other than that, I hadn't really come across many, and I could not believe when I got to Tresco the collection there. And it's definitely something I want to continue to pursue, with hopefully travelling to South Africa and Australia or New Zealand after I finish my degree next year.
Fantastic. And how did you get away with growing these plants outdoors in Tresco, do you think?
Well, it's just such a mild climate there. Very few frosts, so occasionally every maybe 15 to 20 years, I think, they get a really bad frost or a snow, and it does kill back quite a lot of their plants. But they see it as, you know, an opportunity to replant and to expand their collection, and they have new spaces that they can, you know, plant. And but other than that, most years they get very little frost. And when I got there in January, it was kind of 12 to 14 degrees most days, and by February people were wearing shorts and we were going to the beach, and just such a mild climate that you don't expect just off the coast of England.
And speaking of fear of heights, Eileen, I think you are just that little bit nervous of them, but did you get the chance to climb up trees with the harness?
I did just the once, and got to go up and prune the shelter belts there. On a 30-foot ladder, and it was just an incredible experience. Definitely I was terrified, but I left most of it up to the gardeners, and I just gave it a try. But it's something I'd like to learn more of, and to try out again, and maybe do a course in tree climbing. Yeah.
Tresco really stands out as an experience that you loved, and I absolutely love hearing about it. There was a lot of camaraderie that went on there, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was. We had a great team when we were there. There was 3 scholarship students who were there for the full year, which I'm so envious of. And then there was about 12 other volunteers who arrived when I was there, and we had just great times, both inside working in the garden and also outside when we, you know, got together for scones on a Sunday morning, or dinners after work. But yeah, no, there's been just an incredible bunch that were there. And I have to mention one of the scholarship students, Alex Goodyear, has his own YouTube channel, Goodyear's Garden, where he does a monthly review of the plants in Tresco and what's looking good, and gives background and information and stories behind them.
And we'll link to his channel in the details down below this video. And it's always hard, I think, if horticulture is your job and you bring that home, but do you propagate plants at home? Have you got your own collection?
I do. I'm always propagating plants, and I have a collection at home that I'm trying to get rid of, or at least, you know, plant into the garden. But there's so many pots that I have just filled with stuff, and even my bedroom is filled with kind of subtropical stuff that I can't put outside until it gets a bit warmer. But yeah, it's a constant obsession, I think, when you're in horticulture. I cleared out all my pots and made space, and then I came home for the weekend from work with a car full of pots.
You can't help yourself, can you?
No, you just can't seem to get rid of it or stop. But I'm hoping I've no glass house because I tend to move around a lot and I'm not home enough to really mind plants in a glass house. But hopefully, if I can settle down a little bit, I can get my own glass house soon.
Okay, that's wonderful. And tell me a little bit more about the award that you got recently, the Irish Young Horticulturalist of the Year award by the Chartered Horticulturalist Institute of the UK, isn't it?
The Chartered Institute of Horticulture, yeah.
Okay.
So they cover both the UK and Ireland. And every year they hold a competition in Glasnevin for the Irish regional final of the Young Horticulturalist of the Year. I actually competed twice. I competed last year in 2022 and came second, and then retried again this year and came first. And it was just an amazing experience. It's definitely competitive and it gets pretty tense towards the end. But it's been incredible just to meet other young horticulturalists. I've made friends from it.
So what did you actually have to do in the competition?
So you start off with an online round. And that narrows it down to about 8 people in Ireland. And then you go to the Botanic Gardens in Glasnevin, where you are in the auditorium, and there's I think 12 buzzer rounds where you are expected to buzz in, often mid-question while they're asking it, to get your answer in before anyone else can, as well as a plant identification round and a pest and disease round. And it's definitely very tense, especially towards the end, and very high speed. And you have to give reasons why you've given answers. and really explain yourself. And it is tough, but I really love the challenge of it. And I've made some really good friends both in Ireland and in the UK when I was sent to Cambridge to represent Ireland. And just met some incredible people, and the level of knowledge there is just unbelievable. Yeah, it's been an incredible experience and given me many opportunities in finding work and in other opportunities, you know, in horticulture.
Congratulations on your big win. That's absolutely fantastic. It's super to see young people succeed, and especially young girls, because so many women are very interested in plants and gardening, but professionally they don't seem to take careers in that area. So it's great to see someone like yourself who's, you know, working professionally in horticulture.
Absolutely. It was great to see how many girls were in the competition and doing so well, and have that community, as well as, you know, often, I suppose at the head gardener level, it tends to be a lot of men, and to see more women being, you know, pushing forwards and going for those roles and positions. And I currently work with a female head gardener who's just absolutely great and such a support to the team. And yeah, no, I'm hoping to go down that my route myself, and hopefully be a head gardener in the future. Yeah.
Okay. That's fantastic, Eileen. And tell me just a little bit about your experience in the Kilmakura Botanic Gardens, which is a wonderful place to visit, isn't it?
It is. Oh my God. Kilmacurragh for me was one of those gardens that I had put on, you know, my I want to work there list. And I got the chance after Tresco to go do a 2-month placement in Kilmacurragh. Unfortunately, it was a bit of a washout. I had the 2 wettest months, March and April this year. And so there was a lot of rain, but I had a really great time there, just learned so much. I'd really loved rhododendrons before coming to Kilmacurragh, and I just learned so much about magnolias, rhododendrons and conifers while I was there. The head gardener there, Seamus O'Brien, gave us you know, a weekly presentation and talks to all the students, just to teach them about, you know, the history of plant hunting and exploration, as well as the collection there at Kilmacurragh. And it was just such a great learning experience.
Seamus O'Brien has published a couple of books, hasn't he, about plant hunting?
Yeah, and I think he's another one to come soon, so definitely keep an eye out.
So you mentioned subtropicals, Eileen, and how much you love those. Do you want to tell us, just elaborate a bit on which plants you like and why?
Yeah, so some of my favourites were probably the aloes, like I mentioned, Aloe arborescens, but I loved the tree ferns there, Tresco. So Spheropteris medullaris, the black tree fern from New Zealand, as well as Alsophila delbata, which is the silver tree fern. There was just an incredible array of plants there, and I'm really hoping to learn more about them, and to hopefully go back and see all the different morays and different plants that are in flower at the moment, and through the summer and autumn. Yeah.
It's been really great hearing from you, Eileen, and just getting a little flavour of all the excitement and adventure that you've been through. And I wonder, is there any advice that you could give to young horticulturalists that are starting out and perhaps even want to make a career in the industry, because they really are low in numbers?
I think it's to take every opportunity that's, you know, available. I couldn't believe the amount of opportunities with bursaries and even volunteer work placements that are just available in Ireland, the UK and abroad. It's easy to narrow yourself down to, you know, where you're from and, you know, your locality, and not realise that there's so many more opportunities abroad as well. And that's something that I've learned really in the last year with getting a bursary myself. So I think it's take every opportunity and don't be afraid to make mistakes. It's something I need to remind myself, but don't be afraid to make mistakes and try and learn from everyone you come across in horticulture.
Yeah, that's really great advice.
Yeah.
So do the research, I guess, and find out what's available out there.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
Excellent.
And the Chartered Institute of Horticulture actually has a page with a full breakdown of bursaries available to Irish and UK students. It's a really great resource.
And I'm sure there's other available in other countries, but we can't cover everything, can we? Yeah. Okay, thanks a million, Eileen, for coming here today and for talking to us. I hope everybody enjoyed the interview with Eileen. And just a little reminder again about her ex-colleague's channel. What's it called again? YouTube channel?
Goodyear's Garden.
Goodyear's Garden. You have to check that out in the details below and down there in the description. And best of luck to Eileen.
Thank you very much.
So many congratulations on all your achievements.
Thank you.
And we are going to expect great things from her. We'll have to badger you. We'll have to have you back again.
Hopefully 5 years' time. I'll be still working and maybe a head gardener. Okay.
All right. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you next week, hopefully, with the June Douentza Garden Tour. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.